Hey, good morning, roommate. Hope everybody's doing all right today. Happy Thursday. We're almost through the week. Yesterday we talked paragraphing and how do we break up those large chunks into some smaller chunks. We also talked a little bit about math, doing some missing numbers, and how we go about trying to create equations when we're missing some of those numbers. Today, we're going to jump into rounding. Super excited. We haven't touched on it in a while. So let's get into how we go about making numbers a little bit simpler and easier to use. For those of you who really like to just add and find the actual number, this is going to kind of frustrate you a little bit because it's a little bit less accurate, it's a little bit less precise. But there are times that you don't always need to have the exact number. You want to have something that's close. Okay, so let's see how we go about doing that. Here to use. Take the number 87, for example. 87 is a number that's got both tens and ones. When you're adding them, or if you're multiplying, these tens and ones can make it where all of a sudden it makes it much more challenging to add and subtract. So we really, in this case, want to get rid of our ones, okay? The first step is that you got to decide whether you're going to round to the nearest 10 or the nearest 100. You might even decide that you're rounding to the nearest 1,000, depending on what number you're using. In this case, with my number 87, it makes the most sense for me to probably go about rounding to the nearest 10. Okay. I'm going to then look at the place to the right where I'm rounding to. Okay, so I'm going to place 87 on my number line here. And I'm going to look over here. I'm rounding to the nearest 10. I'm going to look at my ones. And it's a 7. Now I got to think to myself on my number line, what tens is 87 between? 87 is between 90 and 80. Okay. And I can make all the tick marks in between. Be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So as I'm looking at this, I'm going to look at this 7. If this ones place, because I'm rounding to the nearest 10, is a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9, it's going to round up. Okay. So this one is going to round up here to 90. Okay. If, for example, instead it were, say, 82, this 2 would make it round down because it's closer to 80. Okay. So that would be how I'd round it to the nearest 10. Let's, instead of going with 87, now let's make it 287. Okay. Again, same sort of idea. If I'm looking at this and I'm rounding to the nearest 100, I'm going to look at the tens place. Tens place here has an 8. So I'm going to think about what hundreds 287 is between. Here, it's in the 200, so I'll start at 200, and I know my next one up here is 300 if I count up by hundreds. Okay, this would be about 250, 260, 270, 280, 290. So 287 is somewhere right around here. Okay. Again, I'm looking at this and I see that the 8 is in the tens place. It is a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9. So it's going to round up. This one here rounds all the way up here to 300. Okay. If, for example, I switched it and it became 237, and I look here at this 4 or this 3, this 3 tells me that it's going to round down to 200. Okay. All right. So good luck today as you're working on your math. Remember, your sum or your difference can be rounded up or down to the number you're trying to round to. Post it to Seesaw. Send me an email. Let me know how you're doing with it, and we'll talk again tomorrow. All right. Good luck today.